Hello and welcome to Pop Snitch Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel.
And I'm Brandon.
And here we are a whole week later, waiting to talk about all the insanity that has transpired.
True. I just got back from Saratoga Springs, where I saw Dave Matthews for 2 nights in a row. So I'm...
Let's not act like you've only seen Dave Matthews 2 nights in a row this year. You are basically following him around the Northeast at this point.
Well, I've already seen him 4 times this summer. I plan to see him 2 more times this summer and probably 4 more times before the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't think when we got married, I was prepared for how much Dave Matthews paraphernalia we would have.
Well, that's okay. I mean, most of them are just T-shirts, but we have some posters as well.
You've gotten to and this I actually like, but you've gotten to where you're collecting Afghans from him.
Well, that he makes incredible Afghans.
I think that's when you know you're a 40-year-old Dave Matthews fan, when you've gone from T-shirts and posters to really loving the Afghan selection.
Well, it is what it is. That's all I can say.
It is what it is. Oh, well, we are prepping. I will be out of town this week, and we are trying to get everything together with our animals and our lives because he was gone this weekend, but we are happy to be back in your ears. I would be remiss if I didn't start with the biggest internet story happening right now, which is the astronomer CEO and his HR director at the Coldplay concert.
I mean, this is the biggest non-scandal in the world, but I will also say, these are 2 adult people having an affair, but if they would have just acted normal in the moment, this would not have even been a thing. If they would have just literally kissed on the lips, they would have just kept moving.
Yeah.
But instead they dived behind things and were trying to brought more attention to it than was needed. So, everyone out there, just take that into account. Just non-reactive presence. Yes, non-reactive presence when the kiss cam comes around.
Yeah, it was so interesting to first of all, it's a tale as old as time, an affair at work. And I'm convinced that that's why these boomers want us all coming back to the office. They're you know what? I don't have anyone to affair with. And that's upsetting. And now here I am with my director of HR, where obviously it would be so funny too, because they were up in decent seats. Were they there at a company booth? What was going on?
No. Everyone that was filmed works for the company. So that not only were they doing this, but many people in the organization knew about it. And, so they were it was co-signed until it became widely public.
Until it could hurt the business, because they had just done some big merger or something in May, I want to say.
Yeah.
So when a lot of money was on the line, they were not
I mean,
great.
people knew about this. This was not a problem necessarily in the workplace until it was a shareholder problem.
It's wild. I did get tickled. I saw this meme that said summer doesn't really start until we've sacrificed a CEO over the last 3 years.
Oh God.
And I was wow, that really has happened. Every summer, some crazy CEO scandal or death transpires.
An immersible goes down, someone is shot in the street, or they get taken down by the kiss cam.
Get taken down by Chris Martin himself, who says either they're shy or they're having an affair.
Yeah, and didn't think about it twice, and now it's the biggest thing on the internet.
I do love it, though. There's nothing like good old-fashioned fun on the internet. I will say it's annoying because it's difficult to tell whose statements are real, because there was one produced from the wife, from the CEO, but upon further inspection, people are saying it's AI. It's impossible to tell these days, but I just think it's funny that they all feel they need to release a statement. I'm maybe I don't care.
Speaking of statements, can we get Sierra off the internet?
I'm saving the Love Island stuff for the end, but I guess we can go ahead. We can swap it with Bravo stuff.
Well, let's just dive right in.
Okay, so explain to people which part you're talking about.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is this. I think it at this point is the most recent post, which is like basically saying like after the villain edit on the show, and being with a man who never wanted me, actually wanted my friend the whole time. I've taken a trip to Mykonos and now I'm gonna, now I'm living my best life or whatever. None of those things are true. Number one, in my opinion, she had maybe the best edit up to the point in when she left of anybody who was on the show, as evidenced by the fact that most people thought that her and Nick would walk to the end just immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no villain edit,
Mm-hmm.
period. Second of all, I this whole thing of like he wanted her Olandria the whole time. I mean, I believe in Nick Olandria, but I'm not of this mind that they saw it from the beginning and there was some sort of like conspiracy. Absolutely not. And just like, gosh, girl, just stop. Give the internet some time to recover from the hate on your name.
Yeah. Okay, so from what I understand, she was like a micro influencer prior to this, so probably had like 150,000 followers or something and was making money from that.
Mm-hmm.
So the hard part about it is that posting is quite literally her job. However, I'm like, listen, babe, not the time. Like you got to let it rock, you
Well,
know?
post about some hoop earrings or a new waxing kit. Maybe let's not go with the Love Island like villain edit post.
I mean, to your point, she did not get a villain edit at all. I'm assuming what she's talking about is the like racist post that she had deleted, apologized for at the time. She's come on, she did another apology with her empathy sweatshirt. She's done like everything she knows how to do
Ro-
to
Okay, sure. But that wasn't in the show. They fully protected her to a level that probably hurt her in the end as it was,
Mhm,
because if you were just watching the show, you would have never known about this. If you're my
mhm.
parents and you're not, like on Instagram following these people, you don't know about this.
That's
Like
true.
the show in no way provided a villain edit for her. Actually, it might have helped her if she would have had some sort of edit that included her saying, for instance, I had this. I deleted it as soon as I found out about it. I had no idea that people would be, clamoring back on it this years later. I'm very sorry. I'm very empathetic. Like there's no element that she has been villainized by the show. She's been villainized by the fans, some of which are deranged.
Truly. They're in the review section of our comments.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no good way to handle this. Like and like she did this a year or two ago, I'm assuming. And I if I were in her shoes, I would have done one of two things. One, I would not have said a word. I would have zipped it,
hmm
let it rock for a while and let people get mad, let them demand an apology. Because what I know about our brains is that they forget things in a week and like people would
God.
be screaming for it until they weren't. So that's one option. If she was going to issue an apology, because I understand, especially when it's something as sinister as like a racist post, like you really want to address that. And I get that. I would want my instinct would be to be like, hey, I didn't know this. Now I do. This is why I took it down the first time. Someone held on to a screenshot of that. It's my lesson to learn. I'm glad they removed me from the show. I didn't know what that word meant. Now I know it means X, Y, and Z, and this is why I don't use it anymore. Period. End of apology, right? I think where she went south, what's the problem with her is that she's so good. She would be excellent in PR. Like people talk about this all the time. She seems so media savvy and media trained. And in this particular attention economy, people are almost overvaluing like a feeling of authenticity, even if it's not actually authentic. Like they want to watch you cry. They want to, you know what I mean? And there are just like all these expectations about how to react to something. Now, did I feel like the empathy sweatshirt and 10-minute going on and on was a bit much? Yeah. Um, but I also was like, this girl is trying to like give context and she's so afraid to say the wrong thing that it just becomes this like almost babbling.
Hmm.
So, and then she's like, people have been calling ICE on my family, which is obviously like psychotic. These people need to sit down and touch grass and like think about their own lives for a moment. But I don't think it's helping her cause to, because the other day she was like posting a bunch of comments that were like mean and hateful and was like, are we taking accountability yet? And I'm like, I don't think we're there. I don't think we're
Well,
at the joking part yet.
well, first of all, I fear when I see posts like that one is another one that really rubbed me the wrong way because I feel like she's 2 seconds away from being a part of like the manosphere nonsense. So, she's going to get red pilled by these people, and all of a sudden she's going to be running for the house in Arizona or
My
something.
God, I know. I think the best thing she could do for herself is get off the internet. And I don't know why people aren't telling her that. Like, go get an actual job because there are people who don't know about Love Island. There just are.
No, and I agree with that. And I'm also thinking this, and this is where I think this is going to hurt her is why did she not just wait for the reunion or like some opportunity for the show to give her the opportunity to speak to this
I
or
don't think the
ask the
show is
show?
going to let her. I
So you
think
don't
that's
think
like,
you don't think she'll be on the reunion?
I would be shocked if she was at the reunion. If they pulled her off the villa, I don't know if they're going to let her be at the reunion. I
And
kind
then
of
my
hope she is, but
and
I
then
don't
my
know.
question is like okay, if what we believe and what we have proposed on this podcast is true, that she did not, that she knew about this, that she took it down, that this person was like a character assassination on her after already apologizing for this years ago, which we'll choose to believe that, right? Like, if that's the fact, and they took her off the show knowing that, how do you feel about that? What is that like? Do you think they needed to take her off the show?
I mean, yeah,
Or just to
here's
silence the crap around the show? Is that why they did it?
I think it had got, and I mean, they were able to go back and find it in her phone because they had her phone. So whatever they found was enough for them to be like, okay, which brings me to my previous point about like, who is vetting this cast? Like, I know for a fact on Bravo, you remember Rachel from Winter House that did like the flowers at Kyle and Amanda's
Oh
wedding?
yeah, yeah.
So I've been following her take on this. Because she is Asian and she was like, yeah, it's super offensive. Like, this is really
Of
annoying. But
course.
also, she was like, I don't understand how casting didn't catch this. She's like, when I went on Winter House, they went through they went through the fine tooth comb all of my social media presence. It was like, hey, this needs to go down. Hey, you need to think about this. And explained like how things could cause an uproar. And she's like, I don't understand how they are pulling these 20-something-year-olds and not actually vetting their social media. And it's a hill I will die on forever. If I had a child, they would not be allowed to have social media until they're 18. Like for sure, for sure. That would not have helped Sierra in the most recent one, but it would have kept someone from pulling up something from her saying the same thing in 2014. Um, and I also think that people live their lives on the internet now in a way that is like foreign even to us because
Oh,
we
a hundred
didn't do
percent.
that in our youth. And so you're watching people realize things in real time, you know?
Well, I was explaining this to some people that I work with because there was this argument happening about like the role that social media plays. Okay. And I was saying, look, millennials, I believe, not to speak on us, but we understand social media better than anyone, better than
Mm-hmm.
Gen Z, better than the boomers, better than Gen X, because we have seen every iteration of it, right? So, like when social media first comes on the scene, people are like, oh, this is just a fun game that we play. It's not really me.
With
It's
our
not a,
actual
yes,
friends.
it's not an indication of who I am or even what my views are or who I am as a person. It's just my game that I play online.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became a thing of like, okay, you don't want to say anything online that you wouldn't say in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became social media is my life. It
Mm-hmm.
is me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is a direct reflection of me.
Well, it's turned people, no matter who you are and what you do, your online presence is your personal brand. And
Yes.
you have to deal with that. And like, I think about, and this has nothing to do with like racism or anything like that's why I'm like, what she did, I do think was enough to be pulled from the island. She honestly never should have been cast if they could find that.
Right, for her sake.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
even beyond what she did, but even for
Right.
her sake, she should not have been cast.
Right. But I just think like there are so many things that I think really differently about now that I did 10 years ago,
You've been
20 years ago.
embarrassed.
And I remain really grateful that most of my life has been lived in real life and not just online. But I worry about this next generation because I do feel like they are being held to kind of unfair standards because there's no other generation in history except Gen Z who has lived their life online, their parents posting them online without permission when they were children, all the way up until they're applying for jobs. And, you know, there's this whole thing going around about like the Gen Z stare too. Well, there's actual data compiled to show that like they are the first iPad kids. And when they were given an iPad and at the time where they're supposed to be like babbling, your parents are supposed to babble back with you, right? To teach you the natural cadence of a conversation. So they have an iPad that immediately causes pauses. Like if you don't have someone like goading you and coaxing you into responding appropriately, then you're just going to stare. So they go from that and
Mm.
then they get caught up in their formative years in COVID for 1 year up to two for some of them. And they're just in front of devices that aren't necessarily talking back. So it makes a lot of sense to me why their brain chemistry is a little different around like interactions than the rest of us. But yeah, I think we have to figure out honestly like legislation or something around social media. Like I will also die on this hill forever. I think families that do vlogs and make a bunch of money off of showing their kids online, I think that should be illegal. They should be held to the same standard as like child actors. And I cannot believe that people are allowed to use their offspring to bring in money and make them film things over and over and over. I think that is despicable.
Okay.
I do.
Visit Rachel in the comments of this video.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't like it. I think it sets them up for a feeling that everyone's always watching them. And if they do make a lot of money, then they feel like they have to go into that. Like there's no sense of
Do feel like
autonomy.
I do feel like the interesting point that you brought up and I've thought about a lot is without their permission for many,
Yeah.
many years. And then like, I mean, how many times have, somebody who's involved in some pretty, morally ambiguous things posting their children at like a cotillion in South Carolina or posting
Uh-huh.
at a MAGA lake day or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and then that is going to affect them for the rest of their lives.
Well, even just like posting pictures of them to a public profile, right? So we have friends who work in law enforcement and multiple friends who work in law enforcement and or used to. And when I worked as a teacher, I coordinated with folks there a lot and I'm like working in administration and stuff. So what I heard over and over is that the worst people online in terms of like child predators are like if you post a picture of your baby and post it to a public profile and you have a creator insights on, you're going to find that the majority of people viewing that picture or that reel are men. And it's going to be men of a certain age. And it is jarring. Like that is how they are spreading like dark stuff all over the internet. And like for me, I don't have a kid, but if I did, there is absolutely no way in hell strangers would catch that face. Like
Well,
there's
I
just no
mean,
world.
and yeah, with like deep fake AI and all this kind
Yeah,
of stuff, like it's dangerous to have your kids' faces on the internet.
it
It's
is. I
dangerous
would
for
just
us to have our face on the
no, I know. I know.
internet.
But we're consenting adults. I think for
No,
me,
exactly.
if I had a child, they're they're already going to be bombarded with a world with so little privacy, less and less each day, right? And to be able to give them like one shred of that, one shred of choice in when and how their faces emerge online, I think is important. And again, that's me talking as someone who does not have kids. Like, I get that I don't necessarily get to weigh in on it, but I worked with kids for a long time. And I know how weird it is when they know that you're watching them, like with a camera or recording them, and their reactions completely change. And I'm like, that can't be good for the brain to not feel like you can have like a level of vulnerability without
Well,
being watched and recorded.
well, and I think for so long, going back to even what we were just saying a minute ago about how it changes, is I don't think anybody's really been forced to think about this. Like nobody, when iPads came out, parents were just like, "Oh my God, I can get 2 minutes to go do
Yeah,
the 1,000 things," or God forbid, take a moment for myself. And
right.
it's like it seemed like a helpful tool, but now,
Totally.
15 years later, the
There is
data
research.
is
Yeah.
here. And so, in the same thing that we'll probably be thinking in, 15 years about vapes and, stuff that's already coming out about vapes.
Yeah.
It's like, now we have information. So it's not a judgment
Oh
thing.
my God, absolutely not. Let me be
It's
clear.
no, no, I didn't think you were. I was just
No,
saying.
but when I'm thinking back like 15 years ago, we're looking at like the financial crisis, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
our parents, my parents had me very young. So they're like on the cusp, like literally the year between um Gen X and Boomer. And like when they were coming up, they could live on one person working. Like we didn't make a lot, but we made enough where we could own a home, two cars, one parent working in the South. And like by the time 2009, 2010 came around, that was just not even close to an option for our generation. So like
No.
our friends who started having kids from like really 2009 to like 2013, I understand. Like everybody is working, praying they can keep their job, trying to do what they can. That's when health or when childcare starts initially feeling that squeeze before it got like truly out of control after the pandemic. And it was like a new thing where they were like, oh my God, my kid can sit there for a little while I'm able to take a shower because both of us aren't just working. We've got side hustles and we've got this and we've got that. So it's not even like, I don't think it's like a bunch of bad parents who just decided to shove their kids in front of screens. I think it is just a reality of in that time from like 0 to 3 when they're babbling, when they're learning a lot of these like fine motor skills and things of that nature, if they are in front of something who cannot talk back to them and mirror to them what they need to do, it stunts their development to some degree.
Mm, true. Did you have
So,
any other Love Island stuff?
okay, so I obviously in just a second want to talk about Huda and Amaya's interviews on Call Her Daddy. Um, but I also wanted to let you know that Love Island has come out and said they're going to change their casting practices. Babe, what were you doing prior
Oh my
to?
God.
And they're actually pitching like a winter version of Love Island.
Ooh, boy. That's amazing.
But like, what is that? I don't know why. I feel like the same way about Winter House. Winter House was fun, but like, it's just not the same as Summer House.
I mean, a winter, but I mean, the thing is like so little about the villa actually has to do with like the beach. They actually don't
Also,
even
there are
go on the
plenty of
beach.
places. I'm just realizing that I'm dumb right now because there are plenty of places that have the opposite winter and summer. Like they could go to Australia or something.
Yeah, I mean, also, it's like so little of what they're doing matters that they're at the beach because they're in like a compound. Like they don't even show them on the beach. They are.
That's true. That's true.
So
They could
like
have
it
a
could
villa
be,
anywhere.
yeah, they could have a villa in, Vale or,
Right.
wherever.
Right.
Yeah, I think. Well, hey, I just like the content, baby. Keep it coming.
I know. Give me this every night. Shoot it into my
Yeah, I
veins.
mean, I've literally like a little piece of me has
Has
died when,
perished.
yeah, yeah, when the show went off the air.
I
It's like I
know. It's
had something
sad.
to look forward to every single night.
Well, and we're going to be in Spain during the reunion, which
Yes,
sucks, but I
which
guess
we
we'll have
were
to see it when
all,
we get back.
which thanks to all of you who showed up to our event, we were offered another event at a different bar, to do the finale, but we can't because we're going to be in Barcelona.
But we're going to try to do a party of that nature when Traders comes out and a couple other things. So we'll do some other watch parties as we go through. But let's talk about the Huda and Amaya interviews and the different vibes between them.
Hmm.
There's been a lot of irritation about Huda and Amaya going on Call Her Daddy on TikTok. They just didn't feel like it was necessarily the right venue, etc. I think it's smart to go on like a big podcast. Like I get that.
So
I
from whose perspective? Who's
um
what I'm saying is like they're saying it wasn't a good idea. From whose perspective?
so from what I could gather, a lot of people don't feel like Alex Cooper was specific enough about the racist hate toward Shelley and Alandria that she experienced based on how Huda's fans were moving and then how Huda has been moving post Villa. And they just felt like, just a white girl giving some softballs to her, which to some degree I do understand. But I also noticed that Amaya and Huda have the same team management. So I think what's happened is that these folks come out of the villa and either prior to going in or as soon as they come out, they have a management team. And those management teams have already set up podcasts with like the people I've seen get the most are like obviously like Hollywood, like that area, but they're getting like really tiny ones. The long form interviews are going to Nick Viall inexplicably, Call Her Daddy, and Kiki Palmer is doing, I think, Alandria or Shelley, and who is the other one? Chicks in the Office. Did I already say that?
Yeah, I mean, here's my take on the hood of it all. I for the venue, which is Call Her Daddy, I think that Alex did a great job. I don't believe that I don't think it's on her to go hard. I've never seen her go hard on anyone. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not a gotcha podcast. It's like getting to know that person, hearing their story, hearing their version of the story. She did go after her on several questions. We're like, okay, I hear what you're saying, Huda, but this is what we saw from home. Do you not see how that was perceived? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand, like, if you're inviting this person on as a guest in that environment, how you go any harder than that without being, like, straight up, like, confrontational.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The interesting part to me about Huda is, okay, I listened to Amaya's, and Amaya is genuinely one of the most joyful, funny people to listen to.
I smiled for the entire hour and a half or whatever long
Exactly.
interview. Like I was just like, gosh, I'm so glad that she so obviously is the person that I think that she is.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I completely agree with
Yeah, so you like I went from that and then for whatever and like Amaya was not asked a lot about her background, which I actually would have loved to have learned more about, given the fact that in the world in which we live in these trying times, we have two immigrant children who have won Love Island USA. Like, I want to hear more about her family coming to America. I want to know more about like where in the city did she grow up? What was that neighborhood like? Where is she planning to go get this dinner with Brian? I guess I just wanted more backdrop of that, but Amaya is so funny that it just like turned into just kind of rehashing what happened. With Huda, I think Alex, her team must have known that this girl is, as she said, very polarizing. So she starts with a lot of questions about how she grew up. And I'm curious if Huda's team put forth this as an option. Um, but I could not get over. Listen, I feel like I say this all the time. I'm no prude, but listening to Huda have a conversation was so grating because it was bitch, brother. Like she couldn't have a normal reaction where she just spoke conversationally in a way that wasn't like TikTok speak to some
it.
degree. And, or it just like sounded performative. I really can't explain it well. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And there were a couple of things that made a lot of sense to me. One, that she's the youngest, loud and clear. Absolutely loud and clear there, baby. Um, Two, she talked about some like really horrifying things that happened with her father as a child. I thought it was weird that she kind of put her family on blast and was like, my dad did this to me and no one believed me. And I'm like, Okay, that's I mean, to be as close with your family as you are, or they're like watching your child, it's interesting to be like, this horrific thing happened, and just so you know, no one believed me. I'm gonna say this and call her daddy right now. And I was like, oh, so that was like kind of jarring to me. The way she spoke about Chris was so disrespectful and such a dichotomy from how he spoke about her on Nick Viall's podcast that I was like kind of taken aback. I'm like, does she know there's going to be a reunion?
This is going to be very bad for her. No matter how you feel about Huda, like, there's no way this reunion goes well for her. Period. At this point,
Yeah.
she is scorched earth for a lot of these girls,
Uh-huh.
and the internet. You know, she has followers, she has people who like her, but like, I just don't know that her brand can. I mean, I may be proven wrong. I've been proven wrong before, but I don't
Mm.
know that her brand survives this reunion, like, in any
Yeah.
meaningful way.
Well,
And
she's
then
not going to be able to respond in a way that's thoughtful. She's just going to cry and then scream at people.
no, and I mean, it'll make good TV, so maybe they'll give her a show or something like that. But
God, I hope not.
I think it's gonna be rough. And I will also say that she's forgotten who her friends are. I mean, she talked junk on Shelly, she talked junk on Alandria, she talked junk on every single person who was
Baby, they're
there
not friends. They
except
unfollowed
for
each
well,
other.
I know that's what I'm saying. And what I'm just really confused about how she's moving with this, and like not understanding like all of the different ways in which people are going to come at her.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy to
And
tell you how she's moving. She opened her phone and realized that she had the most supporters
yeah,
or the most followers. She told us while she was in the villa, she said, I have a really hard time making friends. I actually don't have a lot of friends. Yeah, we know. We see that. And then she finishes the villa telling everyone, like, we're family forever. And then you're going to go on one of the biggest podcasts possible on this huge platform and say that Shelly and Alandria bullied you. All
I'm yeah, yeah. I
all they
mean,
did, all they did. Alandria put her on blast about kissing Chris after saying that she brought him there for Shelly. Shelly put her on blast for doing too much with Ace. Neither of those things were out of pocket. We saw her get mad about a pancake, about a date that Jeremiah couldn't help that production put him on, about Iris existing, about Amaya coming into the villa.
but people are also allowed to be angry.
That's my
Like,
point.
you know,
She
that's
was
what,
angry
yeah,
the whole time.
that's what I mean. Like, if it upset them, okay, that doesn't mean they bullied you.
No.
You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
where like
Like,
that's where the race of it all comes in though, that like both of those women went in knowing that they could get an edit that made them come off as angry or
mm-hmm,
brash. And you could
mm-hmm.
tell that they were cognizant of that because they have
Of
lived in
course.
America for however many years they've been
And what
alive.
Alandria said when she got voted off and how she was acting as well.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm
She was
not gonna
very
be the
aware.
person who's gonna, give them
Yes.
what they quote unquote want.
And they were right because the minute everybody's like, you're not giving us anything, you're not giving us any emotion. The minute that they broke, the moment Shelly said, you know what? I'm actually not ready to talk to you right now because I don't want to say anything out of pocket. I'm just like feeling very emotional. And the minute that Alandria was like, why don't you tell the class what you did? Whether you agree with it or not, it's so small potatoes compared to Huda coming in and calling Iris and Amaya a bitch for no reason. Huda's like, you shouldn't say things that I say to you in private. Really? Because when Jeremiah chose you, you told everyone that he thought Iris was unattractive and didn't want to sleep in a bed with her. And you said that to humiliate her in front of everyone because you were
Mm-hmm.
jealous. And like everything she did or she called someone out for doing, she had done tenfold throughout the season. She made people miserable. Now, she was nice to some girls, and this is like the thing that I need people to understand. Some of the girls came into the villa, especially the Casa girls, and they're like, oh, well, Huda was actually like very welcoming and blah, blah, blah. And to this, I say, give it 15 years and you will be me. And you will understand that when you walk into a friend group and one of them is like overly friendly with you and the others aren't really hanging out with that girl, she's being overly friendly with you because she does not have friends. And there is likely a reason.
Yeah. I I to just put a finisher on the Alex Cooper of it all, people who are coming after her, I'll never understand that. Like, I think she did a fine job with it for what it was.
Yeah, I think I think people were frustrated that the racism of it all wasn't called out. And I get that. I mean, we are not Black people living in America, so we obviously don't fully understand that experience. And I think that Huda tries to act like she is adjacent to that community. And even like the way she was talking, again, the way she was talking about her and Chris sleeping together was like kind of indicative of that, where she was like, you know, he's telling everyone we had sex and like he barely put it in. And like, we all know I can take it. I've taken it from plenty and blah, blah. And we're
Oh
like, oh
wow,
my
wow.
God.
Okay,
Like the
okay.
way that she spoke about it was so weird and childish, honestly. Um, and then someone on TikTok has made this observation that I don't know that it's true, but she's saying she doesn't think Huda has full custody of her daughter or even full partial because, well, she still hasn't seen her. She said that the kid's on vacation with her dad, but like, let me tell you, if I had a child and I spent 6 weeks in a villa and I came out of that, the first person I would want to see is that child. I feel that way about my dog now. So I can't imagine co-signing a trip that would take place after I got out. And she was like out at the Grove where you are like wanting to be seen in LA with Miguel, Leah's boyfriend from last season, his friend. And they're like holding hands and drinking some sort of drink. I don't know. But I was just like, you are dying to stay like in the
I
ether.
mean, she's trying to capitalize on this moment, which, more power to her.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is weird to me that she put that's another thing about it that was crazy, which is
Yeah.
is that she put him on blast. She
She
put
sure did.
the father of her child on blast.
Well, and what we know from watching the show is that she's a liar. And
Yeah.
that's like what struck me is that like she would have a conversation that we saw and she would go to someone else and say, "Okay, here's what happened." And it was literally a complete fabrication.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult for me to, it just, honestly, that interview cemented. I had hoped. I was like, maybe she'll prove me wrong. Maybe she'll come out, do something, like show that she's sweet and empathetic, and maybe I'm just like super out of pocket. No, no. If anything, I am just more staunch in the fact that I don't think she's a good person. I think she could be. I think she needs to go to therapy. I think she needs to stop trying to have a relationship with anyone but herself and her child at this point until she's able to grow up a little bit. But Huda is Huda, like whatever. Her fans and like the mob mentality that they have had on these other people, who has the time? Like I can't imagine being like, I'm gonna go to Shelly and Alandria's page and I'm gonna say the most vile things I can conceive of and threaten them because they said they didn't want to talk to Huda one night and like that's not her fault per se, but I'm just like, this is a wild group of people. I think what's scary to me is that they're like identifying with her. And I'm like, why is this a person that you want to platform and that you think is great? And it's not even like we've been watching reality TV forever. I have seen Crash Out after Crash Out. That one wasn't even epic compared to the stuff on Bravo in like 2010s, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we mean. It's more that like when it happened on these other shows, we were all collectively like, look at that nut, not let me follow this person and then attack people who disagree with them. Like that is a wild shift that has happened a lot over like the last 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just ready. I'm ready to see what people will be willing to say to her on the reunion, because there's another part of this too, which is like you're welcoming those, insane fans into your DMs if you attack her publicly on this show. So that's also, I just wonder, like, and there's a certain level of all of them, at least when they were on the villa, it may have completely changed now, that want to keep the peace.
I
And
think they
so,
did, but she disrupted it pretty
yeah,
hostily. Like,
I
I don't
think
think
they
that's the
could
word,
have
but
come out and I think they could have come out and actually kind of presented a united front and just kind of moved on. But what she has done since, she's trying to, I don't know if it's her people or her or what, but they're trying to create a moment, whether it's a good
mm-hmm.
moment for her or a bad moment for her. They just want a moment. And I'm telling you, they're going to get
Yeah.
it.
Well, Shelly and Alandria, they have not said a peep. Alandria has just been on some of like Nick's lives. But I can't remember who. I know Kiki Palmer. I love that they're going on Kiki Palmer too. I'm like, more of that. Um, let's stop going to Nick Viall. Like, I beg you. Begging, pleading, throwing up. But yeah,
His
so it'll
show
be
is an
interesting.
abomination. Like, it's just not good.
It's not good. What sucks is that he got in there early doing a lot of this and has built a platform where he clearly has like management teams who work with him and he has a huge reach.
Oh yeah,
But
I mean,
he
more power to
sucks.
him. Yeah, but
No,
it's
not more
not.
power to him. He sucks. I don't like him. Did you
Yeah.
see that he and Natalie are going to host that Netflix show about age gaps?
What?
Oh my God, I
There's
can't
a
believe.
Netflix show about age gaps. Okay, hit me
Yes.
with this.
Okay, so apparently that's all I know about it is that it's a Netflix show. They are set to be the hosts, and it's going to be people ages, I want to say like 22 to 52 who are there to find love. And I'm like, okay, no, what are we doing here? This is weird.
Is it all old women and young men?
No, of course not. Like, I have
Or
no idea what the breakdown is.
I hope that they have some older women and young men and vice versa. Like if they're doing that, they need to do it both ways. It doesn't just need to be a bunch
Yeah,
of 50-year-old like men
men.
with money and then like 22-year-old women.
Yeah. So I don't know what that's going to be or like, how do you go on that show? I, I don't know. I think it's going to be weird. I can't stand him. And
I'm having
she
trouble finding a mate. So the show that I want to go on is the one that's going to pair me with people that are, 30 years older than me.
significantly older or younger. Yeah.
That'll work.
I don't know. I think it's just like, it's interesting. I mean, he met her when he was like 38 and she was 20 is when they began dating. Like,
Sounds
as
right.
someone in that age bracket, I'm like, I cannot imagine having a conversation with a 20-year-old that was romantic, like genuinely in my heart of hearts. I was like, what do we have to talk about? I can't even do the heart thing that y'all do with my fingers. I don't
Hmm.
know anything about you. Um, yeah, I think it's really strange. I find him to be very strange
Yeah.
and their entire relationship to be odd. 18 years, that's a whole like cooked chicken. I did it. I had a baby. They're 18. They're out of the roost betwixt them. I don't know.
Nice.
I'm trying not to be super judgy. About that, I am judgy.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's
That's
because
true.
I don't like him. Okay, let's get into Bravo stuff because I'm starting to get hot. We discussed this last week. We have to turn the AC off to do this, and I am starting to get like sweat.
I've soaked this chair again.
Okay, so you saw Jax Taylor is leaving Bravo.
For how long? All he said is that he's leaving the Valley for next season. Those are the words. Now, what will the Valley be without him? I'm not sure.
I think it'll be just fine. It was mostly without him this season.
I know, but I mean, the only thing they had this season was Kristen kind of like the only legitimate thing was Kristen getting engaged. Everything else was just kind of like weirdly, obviously fabricated.
Yeah, I think Janet, they need to tell her next season, whatever story you're going to tell needs to be about you. Stop trying to like tell stories about Danny and Nia or about Kristen the year before. Like, she has got to focus on herself and like what she's going to bring to the table. People need to stop being psychotic and like trying to burn Janet's house down and trying to ruin her life. But she is a very unlikable character on TV.
People on Sexy Unique podcast said that they needed to use BravoCon as a sting operation to take down all these people that are coming for Janet and Jason. They're like, these people are truly unhinged. Like
Yeah,
if you're watching The Valley and your takeaway from it is that Janet needs to die, like you're seriously like one of the most sick
seek help.
individuals. You're one of the most sick individuals, and they basically like this is our best chance to get them all in one place and just kind of throw a
God,
net
it's so
over
true.
them.
Here's the thing. None of them can afford to go, I fear. I
Yeah.
worry that many of them are
Well,
just,
God, it's expensive.
that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not going to get the airfare. No, they're going to be keyboard warriors trying to
Mm,
scare the shit out of this family with a small child.
poor
And like,
Janet.
I don't like Janet on
No,
TV.
you don't.
I don't know her as a person. I find the character that she plays on the show to be despicable. But at no point in my life have I ever been like, you know what? She should hear this. She should hear it
S-
from me
Well,
online.
well, speaking of which, in the episode, if I can go there for a second, when Janet and Sheena and Michelle are hanging out in the backyard at Sheena's house, which I will note looks like she bought Ariana and Tom's house.
Right?
It looks exactly like
They all
Jax's
bought the
house
same
and
house.
Tom's house. And I think she literally moved into that exact same neighborhood, has the
Probably.
same pool. It,
Yeah.
it literally
It's the
is
same
exact.
layout.
And they go in the backyard, and Sheena, they're all talking about this whole thing with Kristen or whatever. And Sheena has the audacity on the show to say to Janet that Kristen is the kind of girl who finds the most popular girl and will do anything and everything to get with that, like to become that girl's friend and stay with her. When, oh my Lord, that
Baby
is
girl.
Janet. That
Yeah.
is what Janet did.
And
And that
that's
is who
Sheena.
Sheena is. What are we talking?
Hot,
The
kettle,
only
black.
person,
What?
the only person who hasn't done that is Kristen
Yeah,
in
no,
the
Kristen went
history
to
of the
war with the
show.
most popular person each season. Like, it was
Her life would
so
be so much
stupid.
better if she would have done that.
I know. I know. The problem with Kristen is that she actually is pretty empathetic and she
Yes.
did want to be friends with people off camera. I mean, she and Stassi went for each other's necks, and then she was able to let Stassi like stay at her place when she needed it seasons later. Kristen's
Yes.
good at like forgiving people, but I don't think that she's ever sought out the most popular people and tried to make them her friend. She was, if she
No.
did, she was bad at it.
She would benefit from that kind of behavior as
Yeah.
compared to the crash out nonsense that she was doing for the better part of 15
Sheena
years.
was known for that. That's why everybody got mad at her because they were like, stop trying to please everyone and be everyone's best friend. Like, you can't. We disagree on this. And if you're not going to pick a side, then just like get out of the conversation.
And the Sheena keeping Brock like as far away from these filmings as she can because she knows she's about to release this book during the filming and all. I mean, it's all so calculated. And I'm just like, either be on the show or don't be on the show.
Well,
Like
that's what I'm
either
wondering.
give me Sheena or give me death. Like that's that's what I'm saying. Like
All right,
I
Paul
think
Revere.
I think that her
Wait.
no, not even close.
Wait, who was that? Give me liberty or give me death. Patrick something?
I think you need to stop while you're ahead. But what I'm saying is, I just think that I think the only chance of the show continuing and actually being interesting is unfortunately bringing in some of these people like Sheena and Lala at this point.
Well, do you think she's soft launching like a do you think she's soft launching a divorce?
I don't think so. I think she's too proud, I think. And the whole like summer moon of it all and all that. I just don't know that she's going to do that. I think she would love for her and Brock to be seen as like Nia and Danny are. That would be Sheena's dream. She doesn't want to be the scorned divorcee looking for a man right now. That's not who she wants to be.
Do you think she thought she would get more Ariana treatment if she waited and did this with her book?
Well, as we know, her inclinations are normally wrong, and if that was it,
So true.
then she's benefiting from that now.
Yeah.
I think we're really on the precipice of Sheena like just ceasing to be on TV though, and I don't wish that for her. I think this is maybe her only her only chance to be famous.
Yeah, I mean, I could see, especially with Jax leaving, and I think she was calculated in bringing this stuff up with Brock because it would give her a storyline this summer.
Well,
This, like,
that's what they're
public.
filming right now would be
Exactly.
what will be airing next year, which will be like the release of this book and the people finding out about this and like how it affects their relationship right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be behind the scenes editing this together, honestly.
I know. I actually worry about Brittany with Jax being off the show
In
because,
what way?
okay, so maybe, and I could be reading into it way too much. What he said to her, okay. So in that last scene of the last episode, when she was basically like,
Which I have some
listen,
notes on for myself.
okay, when she's like, I just want you to pay half of Cruz's doctor's bills. That will be your child support. Like, that's all I need. That is not that much. Like, he should be
No, not
having
even
to pay
close.
like a specific percentage of his income towards that child because she is seeking sole custody. She's going to like let him see him, but she wants sole custody so that she could like keep all these appointments together, do all the stuff for Cruz. She's paying for their house, she's paying for his
Well,
school,
and he's a
all of it.
lunatic. The
Exactly.
father
And
is
she
a
knows
is
that.
a is a sociopath.
Well, and that's what she said. She's like, I can't have him end up like you. And he doesn't want him to end up like him either. And his reaction to that was, I'm not going to pay you anything because we'll have joint custody. And it's like,
That's
you
not
are
how that
unwilling.
works.
She's not even asking for, like, she's not even asking for what you could ask for in terms of child support. She's saying, even if they were 50-50, it would make sense for him to pay for half of Cruz's doctor's bills.
Well, first of all, there's not this. That's not how it works in California anyway.
Well,
Like it doesn't. If they get divorced, they are entitled to half of each other's assets and
right.
everything and forfeiture and all of that. And then when it comes to the kid, if it's 50-50 custody, they will both be paying for everything. Like the state will force that. That won't even be a thing that they can
But
decide on.
that's not even my concern. My concern was how angry he got when she was like, no, obviously I'm going to be pushing for custody. And he's like, I'm not giving you anything. And like he flipped a switch. You saw his eyes change and he freaked out. And I'm like, that is a man willing to do whatever it takes to prove his point. And I honestly have a feeling that Brittany was in some ways saved by the fact that Bravo was filming when he
Well,
had
he's
his like
dangerous.
giant breakdown.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think that's why obviously more happened than what we are privy to. Because even Tom being like, you would be in jail if you went back to her, like that's why I'm just like, I'm glad that she's staying on the show, but I fear for him having nothing to lose. I guess that's my thing.
Well, and I mean, she needs to keep her child away from that man, period.
100%.
And I will also say that, like, her trying, I don't know. Now, granted, this could be an edit as well, but I did not like that end part where they had her come back in a different outfit, which showed obviously that it was a part of the edit and not a part of the initial interviews that they did with them. Because she comes back in a different outfit and is doing the whole thing of, like, I thought I could change him. I've been protecting him, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh no, like this is a bad edit. This is a bad like story creation on their part, like trying to absolve Brittany so that she can go on with the show and not be like attached to him in any way. And I think that's an edit. Like she's been co-signing his crap
She
for
has.
10 years. And I'm
Well, and I think
sorry.
that's what's hard about it is that like I think she genuinely fell in love with a psycho
Yes.
and
The
she
whole
did
like,
co-sign all of it and she did have a child with him and it makes it hard to feel sorry for her whole like with your whole chest, but at the same time like there's no perfect victim. Like yeah, she
oh
should
no.
not have married him. She absolutely should not have had a child with him, but she did. We're here now. There's a baby involved.
Well,
And so
another
I'm
thing that
able to like suspend my irritation at her choices for it.
well, she's using the show to unload information too, which I also don't like the fact that they've known he's bipolar for the better part of 10 years and he wouldn't take a medication. Okay, that's your fault. You
It
stayed with the
is.
man. You stayed with the man who's bipolar
Yeah.
and who refused treatment and refused to go to therapy.
Yeah.
And now you're just going to dump that out on the show, which is not good for your child. It's not good for you, not good for him. And then the whole like I love that man. And I'm like,
Well, I think
well,
she did. I just
no,
think
I
it was
believe
stupid to
that.
do. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, but it's
Yeah.
hard for me to take that in stride and be like, you know what, you did try very hard and you really did love him. It's like, yeah, but look what you did to
Right.
yourself. And look what you did, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think like all of these women who have been part of VPR and been cheated on, treated poorly, they're all expecting some level of the Ariana Madix, everyone getting on your side. But with Britney, it's harder because there were these glaring red flags where fans were telling her, don't do this. And then she was willing to have that bigot like perform their wedding and got mad when fans like were
Mm-hmm.
bringing it up on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter and they had to change it and get Lance bashed. She was irritated by that. She's done all of these things. Like she had so many signs, like quite literal signs at her bachelorette saying, don't do it, Britney.
And Ariana, for all of her, things that she did good and bad throughout the years of the show, she always called Tom out when he was out of line.
Well,
And
she
when the
lied for
fans,
him too, but yeah,
yeah, but of course that's her person. But I'm just saying, like, for years and years and years,
that's true. She would.
she would go after him. They exposed all of their mess on the show for the most part. And, what are you saying? No?
I don't think they exposed it, but that was her point, is that like they exposed a lot of it, but she was trying to protect him a lot too. So I don't know. I think the thing with Ariana was a couple of things. One, we were all still pretty online at that point, coming out of like a big COVID online bubble. And I also think like she had come around on so many things, like freezing her eggs, asking him to like go in with his sperm. She had like bought this house with him. And in her mind, they were married. And then the fact that it was Raquel, like there were just so many different parts to it. And then on top of that, Ariana has talent. Like, like she knew how to sing, she knew how to dance, she had been acting in these little roles. So I think like it was the perfect storm of it working in her favor. And I think these women have to get at like Lala's mad she didn't get that treatment. Katie was bummed she didn't get that treatment. Sheena's obviously going to be irritated that she didn't, and so is Brittany.
I mean, it's so sad, but the harsh, absolutely harsh truth is that she's just more likable than all of
Yeah,
them.
I
I
know.
mean, and I'm not even saying that what makes someone likable is always good.
Right. Or
It's
fair.
just like, or fair. It's just she is far more likable than them, and her edits, for the most part, have always been more likable than their edits.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
I think
just a
with
benefit
Brittany,
of the show.
people are just like, oh, you want us all to feel terrible for you now because you made a series of terrible choices. And to that, I say, I hear you. But also, people make bad choices when they're blinded by like
Well,
being in love with someone.
and that's also just like her upbringing, that
Yeah.
southernness, that fake. I mean, I don't even say this pejoratively, that fake nice kind of thing. Like, even in that last scene at Kristen's house, he's calling her and calling her and he's manipulating her and she's still answering. And Zach is like, put that phone down.
I
Do
know.
not talk to him.
I
What is
know.
wrong with you? And she's still
Yeah.
trying to be like, I'm trying to be a good wife. I'm trying to be a good friend to him. Like, no, that the time for that is over.
Hmm.
Wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and it seems like she's in a much better place with it all now, but it is frustrating watching it. But if you've ever had a friend who has been in like truly an abusive relationship, whether it's verbal or physical or with addiction, it's very hard for them to leave. Like it usually
No,
takes a lot of starts and
100%.
stops. So she actually has done it more consistently throughout than I expected. Because it is, especially when there's a kid involved, it's incredibly difficult. But yeah, I think she thought she might get that treatment. And then I think that Sheena probably felt similar. And then, they're putting the Mormon wives up on Dancing with the Stars instead of Sheena Shea.
Is there a Valley
Reunion.
reunion?
There is indeed.
Oh wow, is Jax gonna be at it?
I'm assuming.
Okay, we'll see.
I don't know. It was filmed like pretty early on because Nia and Kristen were so pregnant. So I don't know. But yeah, he would still have been out of stuff by then. So yeah, because that was last year. So
Okay.
we'll get to watch that. So this week we have the season finale of Next Gen and of The Valley. And then next week we'll have the reunion for The Valley. So I'm excited about that.
All right.
All right. Well, that's all that we have, my friends. Please, please, please go follow us. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Definitely follow us on Instagram and on TikTok.
Pop
And
Snitch Pod. Oh,
will be in your ears. What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
accidentally muted myself. And I was going to
Multiple
say,
times.
and I
That
was going to
was
say, go to popsnitch.com. That's where all of our links are. That's where you can subscribe to everything. It's where you can find our videos and our podcasts and subscribe to our Substack, because that means that when we record and we record at an off time like we did this week, you'll get it immediately. So,
yeah, which I know you're all waiting with bated breath. And we're here. And we'll talk to you soon.
bye.
Bye.